Life wasn't always like this. There was a time when nothing made sense, when every single dollar mattered more than anything else. He used to check his bank account every single day, not because he was planning, but because he was worried. Worried about running out, worried about failing, worried about not making it. Nights felt endless back then, not peaceful, just quiet and heavy. And mornings came too fast, forcing him back into a life he didn't enjoy. He worked harder than most people around him, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes extra shifts, just to survive. But no matter how hard he worked, it never felt like progress. It always felt like survival. Until one day, something changed. Not slowly, but suddenly. He got the job. A 6-figure salary. One moment, everything flipped, from struggling to successful, at least on paper. At first, it felt unreal, like he finally escaped the old version of his life. He told himself, "This is it, I made it." And for a while, it really felt like that. He moved into a better apartment, not luxury, but nicer, more comfortable, more adult. Then came the car, new, shiny, and expensive enough to feel like progress. He bought better clothes, started eating out more often, started saying yes to things he used to say no to. Expensive dinners, weekend plans, small upgrades everywhere. Everything around him started to look better, and so did he, at least from the outside. But something dangerous was happening quietly in the background. The more he earned, the more he felt permission to spend. It didn't feel like spending, it felt like reward, like he deserved it. But rewards kept stacking. Rent increased because he could afford it now. The car payment locked a part of his income every month. Subscriptions multiplied without notice. Streaming, apps, services, lifestyle upgrades he didn't even use fully. Small expenses started behaving like big ones, and big ones started feeling normal. Slowly, without realizing it, his money was losing direction. At first, he didn't notice anything wrong. His account still had money coming in. His lifestyle felt stable. But stability was an illusion, because the truth was simple. Money was entering his life at the same speed it was leaving, and he never tracked it properly. He was too busy living the upgraded life to question it. Until slowly, the pressure started building. Stress returned, but in a different form. Not survival stress, but silent stress. The kind that sits in your mind even when everything looks fine on the outside. Nights started feeling different again. Not because he was broke, but because he wasn't sure where his money was going. He started feeling a strange discomfort he couldn't explain. He kept spending, thinking maybe a little more comfort would fix it. Maybe another purchase. Maybe another upgrade. Maybe another dinner out. But nothing fixed it. Instead, it got worse. Because spending without control never creates peace. It only delays reality.
And then came the night everything collapsed internally. He checked his bank account like he always did. Except this time, something felt off. He opened the app, waited a moment, and froze. $2,147. That was all he had left. For a man earning 6 figures, that number didn't make sense. It didn't match the life he was living. It didn't match the effort he was putting in. It didn't match anything. He stared at the screen, hoping it would change. But it didn't. That moment hit harder than anything before, because suddenly reality became unavoidable. He wasn't rich. He wasn't even stable. He was just earning more while staying broke in a more expensive way. That realization hurt deeply, not because of the number, but because of what it meant. It meant years of effort hadn't built security. It had built dependency. Dependency on income that could disappear any time. And for the first time, he asked himself a question he had been avoiding for a long time. If I stop earning tomorrow, how long would I survive? The answer scared him. Not long. That was the turning point. Not a motivational moment, not a dramatic inspiration, just a quiet, uncomfortable truth. Something had to change immediately. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more pretending that everything was fine. He realized that income alone was not the solution, because income without control is just movement, not progress. So he made decisions that felt uncomfortable at first. He cut unnecessary expenses. He removed subscriptions he didn't need. He sold his car and downgraded to something simple but practical. He stopped eating out just to feel better. He stopped buying things to impress people who weren't even paying attention. And slowly, painfully, he started taking control back. It wasn't easy. In fact, the first few weeks felt like loss, like going backwards, like he was giving up the life he built. But over time, something surprising happened. His stress started to drop. His mind became clearer. His decisions became calmer. And for the first time in a long time, he started feeling in control instead of controlled. He started learning something important. Money is not just about income. It is about behavior, about discipline, about awareness. Because income can grow, but without control, lifestyle grows faster. And that gap is where people lose everything without realizing it. Slowly, he began rebuilding. Not his lifestyle, but his foundation. He started saving consistently, investing small amounts, thinking long-term instead of short-term comfort. He built an emergency fund. He tracked his expenses. He became intentional with every dollar again, not out of fear, but out of understanding. And months later, things looked different. Not flashy, not dramatic, but stable, peaceful. He still made a six-figure income, but now the income had structure, direction, purpose. He wasn't chasing a lifestyle anymore, he was building a life. And that changed everything. Because at the end of it all, he learned something most people never understand until it's too late. Money doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you already are. It shows your habits, your discipline, your decisions, and your control.